Hi, welcome to the study guide for Chapter 12 and the final exam. The final exam will be cumulative. This means that it will include materials from Chapter 7 to Chapter 12. So everything you have studied in this class is subject to be asked in the exam. But the truth is that it will have more emphasis on Chapter 12 because this is the last chapter we have studied together. In Canvas, you have the study guide. Unlike always, the study guide is just a summary of all the pages and sections in which you can find the materials to prepare for these. And here I'm missing a parenthesis. So there will be a section on vocabulary, and like you know, the vocabulary sections are the contextos sections at the beginning of every test. In chapter 12, you are going to be learning about la vivienda, houses and activities you do around the house. So this is the vocabulary.
El edificio de apartamentos.
Related to houses. Add more vocabulary over here, and these are the exercises you wanna review. The test will have an exercise similar to this one. It will give you definitions, and then there will be a word bank with possibilities, so you choose the one that fits the best in there. So there will be multiple definitions of things that you have found in chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and of course the most definitions will be focusing on most of the definitions will be focusing on chapter 12. The section contextos will also be useful to prepare for the audio exercise. And by the way, if you look behind, there's a little more vocabulary and more exercises of like the ones I pointed at before of a definition, so you finish with the right word. So I was saying that contextos has some audio exercises that will help you prepare for the audio section of the test, as well as escuchar, the section escuchar, like we've talked about before in previous study guides. It's another section that will help you to prepare for this test. This is the section escuchar, and it will help training your ear. Now, in this test, because it's the final test, I will give you an audio file that you have never heard before, but it's appropriate to your level, to the theme we're studying in chapter 12, and I believe you'll be okay with it. You need to be careful answering the questions. They're not you don't have to write much in there. Just choose something, and but you need to be careful because the questions are not necessarily in order with how the file goes. That means it's a conversation. They go with information little by little, but then the questions don't match that order. So you need to be careful with that. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. Maybe I need some more coffee. Let me know if I don't, okay? Anyway, vocabulary exercise, audio exercise, and then we're gonna jump to structures, like always. This is the audio sections to prepare for the test, and these are the grammar sections of chapter 12, but of course you need to go back and review chapter sections of grammar sections on chapter 11, 10th, 9th, 8th, and 7. Okay, so for grammar, we have relative pronouns. These are the relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are pronouns that are connecting two sentences. For example, my parents gave me the vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner works really well. How do you connect these two sentences? Well, you connect it like this. The vacuum cleaner that's the relative pronoun. My parents gave me works really well. So the same as you're doing in English, you can do that in Spanish the same way. Mis padres me regalaron la aspiradora. La aspiradora funciona muy bien. La aspiradora que mis padres me regalaron funciona muy bien. So the most common ones are que, quién, and lo que. Those are the most common pronouns. So from these three common ones, que will be used for things or people. Quién will be used for people, and usually is the pronoun that follows prepositions. Prepositions, and also the pronoun that goes between two commas as a clarification instead of que when referred to people. And finally, lo que is used to refer to an idea, something that is not specific, it's more of an idea or a situation. Practice with this exercise. I particularly like this one, number 2, completar, on page 416. For example, Jaime y Tina son los chicos a quienes conocí la semana pasada. So Jaime y Tina is plural. So quienes, quien needs to be in plural, quienes, and then there's a preposition, a. So that's not going to be que, it's going to be quien. So, Jaime y Tina son los chicos a quienes conocí la semana pasada. Quieren comprar una casa que está en las afueras de la ciudad. So, una casa is the thing, and we know que is the pronoun that is used with things. So, que is the right one. Es una casa que era de una artista famosa. Again, this pronoun is referring to casa, so we need que again. La artista a quien yo conocía murió el año pasado y no tenía hijos. So, la artista is a person. We could use que or quien, but we see that it's between commas and after a preposition. So, then we're going to use quien. And since artista is singular, we'll use quien and not quienes. Ahora se vende la casa con todos los muebles que ella tenía. So this que is referring to muebles. So in that case, because it's the thing, we're going to use que. La sala tiene una alfombra que ella trajo de Kuwait. This que is referring to alfombra, which is a thing and is singular. So we're going to use que. La casa tiene muchos estantes, lo que a Tina le encanta. So the fact that the house has a lot of bookshelves is what Tina loves. So that's an idea and not a thing. It's not the estantes what she likes. It's the fact that the house has a lot of estantes. So say that. You can use these and the following exercises to prepare for the test. What else do we have in this? Relative pronouns, formal commands. So we have studied, in the previous chapter, we studied informal commands. And in this chapter, we're studying formal commands. And this is going to be in the exam, either formal or informal. So my recommendation is that you learn both forms pretty well. The formal commands are the commands we give somebody using usted. And we do that in singular or plural. Usted, do this, or ustedes, do that. These are the conjugations. Limpie, limpien in plural. And there's a little more explanation here on stem changes and irregularities of, see, all these are irregularities of the formal commands. Please be ready for this because there will be an exercise in the test in which I will ask you to use either formal or informal commands. And I'll give you a situation with a picture, with a person, and I'll describe what the situation is, and I will ask you to give this person commands to help him with his problem. So you're going to have to write. There's going to be a writing exercise. In here, you can see more exercises that will be good to practice. Look at here. This is similar to what I will do. I will give you a situation and you will give a logical command to each of the well, I'll only give you one image, but you'll give multiple commands to this situation. Next, the present subjunctive. The present subjunctive is a mode that conjugates similar to the command. So you please read the explanation of what is used for. The present subjunctive is used for specific cases of doing recommendations and requests, express hope, desire, and this is the what's the here. This is the conjugation. Okay, so with E for the AR verbs and with A for the IR ER verbs, and these are the regular ones. Stem changing verbs. So there's a lot to learn in this one. Irregular, and then here is the general uses of the subjunctives. They are used in a specific type of sentence that you'll see in here with a main clause, a connector, and a subordinate clause. Bueno. The next point of grammar is an explanation of one of the uses of subjunctives a little more in detail. Is the subjunctive with verbs of will and influence. So it's one of these structures that I was telling you about, a subordinate clause that express verbs will or influence when it's expressed in the main clause and the connector que is following that main clause. A subjunctive will continue in the subordinate clause. So read this information, read the clues we have in here. There will be clues of subjunctive, and then you can work on some exercises. I don't know if I'll go in so much detail in the exam to ask you about this specific usage, but I will certainly ask you the conjugations of the subjunctive. So you will probably have an exercise in which I'll tell you, well, you have to conjugate in the subjunctive now, and you will have to know those forms. So keep that in mind. To finish, you will of course have some sections with the questions based on the videos and text that we watch or read in class. In chapter 12, you have, let's see, the first one is La Fotonovela. Where is it? Fotonovela, here. It's called Corriendo por la Ciudad, and it's a video about one of the characters of this soap opera that is running in the city because she's late to turn in her paper, so she has to run around to get that done. That's chapter 14. What am I telling you guys? Am I crazy? I am sorry about that. So chapter 12, fotonovela, los quehaceres. So in this fotonovela, we have Jimena and Felipe have to do some home chores at their home. Their parents leave for a walk and to have a coffee, and these two kids have to clean up their house and do some chores. And this is Marisa who helped them, but also where's the other guy who helps them? Juan Carlos, this guy, and ¿dónde está el otro? There's another guy who helps him. Don Diego. Don Diego also, here he is, Don Diego. Don Diego also helps them, is this guy here. Helps them clean up the house. So that's one of the things that will be asked. Then in Cultura, we have, oh, I love this one. This is a text about architecture or urban architecture, and you also have the little subtests in here and some little questions here. For example, tu amigo mexicano te dice, la cobija azul está en el ropero. ¿Qué quiere decir? So, la cobija azul está en el ropero means the blue blanket is in the closet, but it's a very specific way to say it that Mexican people use. Cultura, lectura. That's not it. Lectura es el Palacio de las Garzas. Este es un palacio y que está en Panamá y es un texto sobre ese palacio. So you will have this text about that palace, and it describes a little bit. What is in the palace, and then you have some questions down here about it. En pantalla you have a commercial, and then el flash cultura es la casa de Frida, que es la casa azul, y panorama, no puedo. It's being rebellious today. The book is being rebellious. Okay, the panorama is about Panama. Panama is right there, so you have some information about Panama and some questions down here. Remember that this is a cumulative test, so I will ask you a few questions of chapter 12, but then I will also give you options of texts and videos from previous chapter, and like always, you can choose um, the three that you feel most comfortable with. It's a lot of materials to prepare. That's why I'm giving you kind of a free week this week to prepare for it. And you have plenty of time to talk to me if you think you need support or help of any type, as well as if you need to contact the tutors in Canvas. So good luck, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.